I don't come from an alcoholic family, and I've traced it back to try and pin it on someone, but I don't come from any of that. But my drinking got to a point where I couldn't stop, I couldn't physically stop. I was drinking 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that was the biggest and hardest step I've ever made in my life, to admit to myself that I've got a problem.
I started drinking, I think, when I was about 12. There was something about it that just made me so excited. Like anything was possible. I always drank to the point of like being too drunk. I would wake up the next day and have no idea, I'd be in blackout. The downward spiral started there and it was very early 20s.
My dad was Latvian and we used to have these amazing Latvian parties and there'd be drink flowing everywhere. And I'd be the one who couldn't say no. And I'd be the one usually sitting in the corner crying at the end of the day. That was during my teenage years. I liked it. It gave me confidence. It changed the way I was, because I didn't have very much confidence.
I did call Alcoholics Anonymous, and it's the best decision I've ever made. From that day to this, I've never felt the need to take another drink. In 24 years.
I would look at other people around me, other people with addiction and alcohol issues that had lost their job, whereas I still had my job. I had still got my driving licence, I had still got a home to go to. Those were the things that were inevitably going to happen.
I started drinking quite heavily. Everything around me then changed. I wasn't holding down a job anymore. I'd sold my house because I couldn't keep up the mortgage payment. I'd been taken into hospital. I had cirrhosis of the liver. So I was there with a small baby, partner who drank, and we'd be fighting all the time. I'd end up black and blue, black eyes, cracked ribs. I was told my daughter would be taken off me.
If women don't feel able to go and discuss their shares or their needs within a group which is mixed, there are women-only groups that women can go to. Sometimes we need, as women, safe spaces to have conversations because it might involve domestic violence, it might involve escaping from a dangerous situation.
Just because I was young didn't mean I didn't identify with people, men and women, who were much older than me. In fact, the first chair that I ever heard at my first AA meeting was a man, and he must have been in his 60s. I was sat there with a hip flask in my pocket, not knowing whether I'd get through this meeting without a drink. And he told my story. He drank the way I drank, he felt the way I felt, because I connected with that man on a level that I'd never connected with anybody before.
Somebody said to me, would you like to see somebody from Alcoholics Anonymous? And I phoned them. So 2 women came and picked me up. But I went in, and the reception I had was wonderful. I was still shaking like anything, so people made me a coffee. I sat down, and they said, look for the similarities. It was that warmth in the rooms, and people were laughing, and people treated me like I was a person, not like a piece of garbage.
This is the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. I treasure this book. When I came into recovery, I found myself surrounded by much older women than me who took care of me, and one of those became my first sponsor. She had a good number of years of continuous sobriety. She'd been through the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, and she took me through the programme the way that she'd been shown and shared her own personal experience with me. My huge passion is seeing young people, particularly women, getting sober.
Since I've started sponsoring, it's one of the most rewarding things that I've ever done, but it's just such an amazing thing to see somebody get sober and find their higher power. To be free of that carnage and chaos and the awful stuff that happens before, it's amazing to see someone be free of that.
When I first came into AA, I didn't trust anyone. It just took me time to learn to trust. We have a yellow card in our meetings as well, which says what you hear here, what you see here, when you leave here, please let it stay here. What happens in the meeting stays in the meeting.
So the yellow card just really is sort of a message to give out at the end to make sure that people remember the anonymity is really important in the fellowship.
The spiritual thing for me is definitely not religious. I'm not a religious person. When I'm in nature and I'm walking my dogs and there's a presence of something there that has nothing to do with me, but I know that it wants the best for me, there's a sense of I'm going to be okay.
Everybody who is a member of the group knows that it's their responsibility to behave appropriate. So we hope that the culture is inviting and safe and good for that person's experience.
I have this necklace that I wear. It was given to me either on my 13th or 14th AA birthday by my daughter. This symbol is important because it represents unity, recovery and service. These are the things that hold AA together. I know that I can take life on life's terms by using this programme. I know that I can face my fears.
It's changed my life in the best way. It's given me freedom. Like, I don't need to wake up every day with that obsession. It's completely gone. I can do things that I never thought I'd be able to do.
The General Service Board, we have women and we bring a different perspective into the discussions and the way we think and do things, because women are suffering alcoholics as well.